You know, in football, we're always talking about goals, trophies, stats, all that stuff. But every once in a while, a player comes along who's remembered for something else entirely. Something you can't quite measure, just the pure, unfiltered joy they brought to the pitch. Today, we're diving into the story of one of those players, a true footballing magician, JJ Okocha. You've probably heard that chant, right? It echoed from the stands in England, and honestly, it just perfectly sums up Augustine Azuka Okocha. It points to a player so special, so unique, that even his story feels one of a kind. So let's follow his incredible journey, from the streets of Nigeria to the biggest stages in Europe. All right, so let's set the stage. Who exactly was this player who captivated millions and even helped shape some of the future superstars of the game? So yeah, he was this attacking midfielder from Nigeria. And for him, it was never really about the goal count. It was about his ridiculous skill, his imagination, his absolute confidence with the ball at his feet. He played all over Europe, and he's without a doubt one of the greatest African players ever. But the really crucial part of his story is how he even got started. Trust me, it was anything but ordinary. And this is where things get, well, kind of crazy. This is one of the most unbelievable origin stories in all of modern football. It's the story of how a simple holiday trip completely changed his life and launched a professional career. These are Okocha's own words, and they just paint such a vivid picture, don't they? He grew up just like so many kids, playing on the streets of Enugu in Nigeria, learning all his incredible skills with whatever they could find to kick around. There was no fancy academy, no big plan, just a kid who absolutely loved the game. This right here sounds like something straight out of a movie. It's just a series of pure accidents. It's 1990. He's in West Germany on vacation, just hanging out. He decides to tag along with his friend to a football training session. While he's there, he casually asks if he can join in for a bit. And then he just completely blows the coach's mind with his natural talent. Just like that, they ask him to come back the next day, and they put a professional contract on the table. Think about that. He went on holiday and came back a pro footballer. It's an absolutely insane start to what became a legendary career. So, from that totally random start, Okocha kicked off a journey that would see him light up some of the best leagues in Europe. He pretty quickly moved up to Germany's top division, the Bundesliga, signing with Eintracht Frankfurt. And it was right here that he scored one of the most iconic, most legendary goals in the entire history of the league. Okay, picture this. It's 1993. They're playing against Karlsruhe SC. Okocha gets the ball inside the box, and instead of taking a quick shot like anyone else would, he decides to, well, he decides to dance. He fakes, he twists, he turns. He is just making these defenders look silly. He dribbles past some of them, not just once, but twice, leaving them completely tangled up inside their own penalty area. And after all that absolute magic, all that mesmerizing skill, he just calmly slots the ball into the back of the net. And who's in goal? Only one of the greatest keepers on the planet, a totally baffled Oliver Kahn. It was so brilliant, so outrageously bold that it was voted Germany's goal of the year. And that moment right there, that's Okocha in a nutshell. It wasn't just about being effective. It was about pure, unadulterated, joyous entertainment. And of course, that kind of talent doesn't go unnoticed. After a great run in Turkey with Fenerbahce, Paris Saint-Germain came calling. In 1998, they paid about £14 million for him, which completely shattered the transfer record for an African player at the time. Now, at PSG, he wasn't just a star player. He also became a mentor. And guess who his young apprentice was? Just some young prodigy from Brazil, a kid named Ronaldinho. Yeah, Ronaldinho himself would later say how much he learned from Okocha's style and flair. So if you look at his time across mainland Europe, you can kind of see these distinct chapters. At Frankfurt, it was that single moment of pure genius. Then at Fenerbahce, he turned into this deadly free kick specialist. And at PSG, he passed the torch of flair to a guy who would go on to win the Ballon d'Or. But after starring in Germany, Turkey, and France, Okocha made a move that absolutely nobody saw coming. In 2002, he joined a pretty unglamorous club in the English Premier League, Bolton Wanderers. And you know what? This move would cement his legacy as a true footballing icon. At a club that wasn't exactly known for superstars, Okocha was a complete revelation. He became captain, saved them from getting relegated with these incredible moments of magic, and even led them to a major cup final. He wasn't just another player, he was a hero. Get this. In 2017, years after he left, the fans voted him the single best player to ever play at their home stadium. That's the kind of impact he had. So, when you look back at his entire career, what's the one thing that really sticks? What's the lasting impression he left on the world of football? It's this, the Okocha style. It was this amazing blend of unbelievable skill, incredible technique, and this is the most important part, the raw confidence to try things that nobody else would even dream of attempting. His stepovers, his feints, they weren't just for showing off. They were a pure expression of his love for the game. And look, this wasn't just about fans loving the tricks. His genius was recognized by the very, very best. In 2004, the legend himself, Pelé, put Okocha on his prestigious list of the 125 greatest living footballers. I mean, when the king of football gives you that kind of nod, there's really no higher praise. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought, right? In today's game, where we are obsessed with stats, goals, assists, win percentages, JJ Okocha is a powerful reminder that football can be something more. It can be art, it can be entertainment,